Yawn just on time, Chris. Aye.
Nap time.
Right. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a funk. I'm sure we can talk about it here.
Yeah, you recovering?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm in the next transition of life, and I don't know that I like it. you know, I'm not sure what that looks like yet. I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm struggling. But I'm in kind of in the clouds at the moment. I'm in the ideation stage, and I'm sure it'll click. And I think I'm making this transition from doer to, I guess, nothinger. So,
Do nothinger.
Yeah, do more through. I don't know yet. I can't explain it yet. You know, I normally have an articulate answer, but I don't have it yet. But I'm feeling. I was sick. I had I think probably the first time I ever had influenza, the actual flu.
Like the real flu?
Yeah, everybody always says I had a stomach flu or I had a head flu. Like people just use that as a euphemism. You know, it's like saying I used a Kleenex instead of a tissue. I don't know that I've ever had it, and I just struggling to get back to the gusto that I had rolling for a little while. So. Trying to figure out what the heck.
Yeah, last week when I texted you on our usual Friday morning text, you were all gung ho. Yeah, podcast.
Yeah,
and
but
I went to the gym.
I went to the gym, and then I just freaking fell off the wagon, because I had this. So last Tuesday, I felt, I was here, went over to the new building, just kind of looking through it, and then I felt achy. And Ryan had flu. The reason why I know it was influenza B is because Ryan got tested and I didn't. But I know I had the exact same thing. So he was sick for days and days and days and days. And I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. So I went home, just kind of, oh man, I feel achy. And then woke up on Wednesday, said, you know what, I'm just going to take the day off. I'm just going to lay on the couch and watch something on TV. And it just felt achy and just freaking cold and hot. And then Thursday, woke up in the morning, felt great. Went to the 5 a.m. class. It was like a crazy cardio workout, killed it. And they came home, cold plunged. I thought I was over. It's good to go. Came in Thursday, did a bunch of stuff. And then Friday, woke up, went to the gym, and then it all fell apart. Yeah, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, terrible. Tuesday felt okay. Wednesday, medium. Thursday, medium. Today I felt terrible in the gym, not because I was sick, but because it's the first time I actually went for it. And I just totally fell on my face. I've just been managing it. Just, been going to the gym, this week, and went, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Actually, I think I may have gone Monday, too. No. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it just did easy work, just cruising. And then today I actually went for it and just fell flat on my face. But not because I'm sick, but because I, just beat up, from being a freaking sissy. And I was talking to Mike about this. I was like, I am not good at being sick.
Not very good.
Not tough at all. Yeah. So, and so combine that with, I'm in this limbo land of imagine, put yourself in my shoes, We own the building on 42, but it's never really been my building. It was the gym for a little while, and then it's my dad's building, really. So I've been renting. I've been renting these buildings since we started the business, and even rented before that. I had my little garage condo thing. Was renting that. So it was never really mine. And then even my house that I live in now, that was supposed to just be kind of a temporary little spot until I built my house. And so the last thing I had that I feel like was mine was the Woodgate house, Well, that was my house. That was my place. But it was so darn flawed, and I just felt like it was so much work that, and then of course we were going to move to the lake house, and that all fell through. And so now the new building's been purchased on Rolling Acres. And I wanted to close on February 1st because we sort of set up our schedule. That's what's changed a lot in life here in our business, is that we've been quite a bit more structured, working towards some sort of semblance of structure instead of just this massive pursuit. Just chase new product, more inventory, figure out how to ship it out. And now we're in a sort of a more mature phase, and now we're going to make those new products that we've been developing all these years more well known to more people, and then we'll continue to pursue better, so that the products won't be new anymore, but we'll make them better and better and better. Should pursue, excellent, if you will. And so we're in this kind of transition phase, and I have all these projects we're working on. We're deep into the LZ project. I've committed to doing an outdoor kitchen project. We've committed to do a garage out in California. It's going to be amazing. The garage giveaway, all this kind of stuff. And so we get the building, and then you guys are you're taking the role of structuring, because I'm going back to LZ's on Monday, and I'm supposed to be at LZ's now, but we kind of worked out the project on how I would kind of come and go, because I was standing there literally watching Mike do drywall. So Trevor's his assistant. I didn't even have anything to hand to him, and so then I realized I should probably go home and make sure we get this building. Good thing I did, because it was touch and go there with insurance and all that crap. And so here I am, kind of in the middle of a big project, and we have our next big project coming, and we got this Life's Pursuit building, right? The first building I've ever bought, and as a business owner, and I can't do anything. There's nothing to do. So you have the team executing on the move, and so imagine you put yourself in my shoes, you get this dream building, and we really can't do anything until we have a schedule, we have a structure. When we're moving in, the day we're moving in, I can't just go and start tearing walls apart, because that won't do any good. So I have to wait for us to finish these other projects before we can start tearing walls apart. Plus, we have to get our occupancy, and we don't want to start doing all that stuff while we're, have inspections and stuff like that. So anyway, the building's closed. We're moving in not next week, but the following week. So I'm going back to LZ's, shoot a bunch of videos, do a bunch of cool stuff. The cabinets are coming, so I'm doing the kitchen install, which will be really fun. And the really fun stuff on the LZ project is starting to come together. The real tough, deconstruction and the construction part is done now. We put things together. You're actually putting things on the walls and putting things in place and installing appliances and AV gear and all that kind of stuff. So now I'll go back to that. So we go back next week, and then I come back here while we move for a week, and then go back to LZ's until it's done. And so that's the plan. And so all the while, the warehouse will be moved into the building. From there, then we'll start doing and getting the yarn guys, the yarn building, the main part of the yarn building moved over there, and then curated. We've have quite a bit of interest on the building up there. When that sells, we'll start moving that stuff, and so then my guess would be we'll really start tearing into walls and things like that in the coming months. We'll start with the superficial stuff like wallpaper and things like that, and we don't have a big budget. This is always our lean time after the holidays. It's always our lean time cash flow wise, and so I can't just go spending a bunch of money. And we've the I don't know if you guys saw me walking through the place. I just, even though I feel a little out of sorts, I feel calm and patient, which is a new virtue that I'm developing personally. So it's been a pretty wild couple of months, from going from living in the swamp in an RV and carrying toilets and drywall out to the dumpster, to now what am I going to do? Shoot, I should probably go back and work on the business, not in the business. And so now I'm working on the business a lot, not in it, thinking about our future and how we're going to, I made a bunch of had a bunch of conversations today about Canada with some people about how I'm going to do that, and then been talking to the leadership team about what our goal of making these broad appeal videos like the Adam LZ project, and then how are we going to continue to make our our product offering better and better and better. And so it's a interesting transition to actually be a CEO rather than just be a doer. So that's where I'm at. And being sick makes you feel like the world's falling apart. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks.
Let's go. We got a couple super chats here early on. First one from Caleb Wallace, $20 US. Hey, Matt, Happy New Year. I was just at Car Supplies Warehouse coating my friend's TLX.
Oh, cool. At the bays, I guess he probably would have been.
Let's see. It doesn't say, but he says, I asked Jason to tell you I said hi. And he took a picture of me with my OG buckets and shirt. I wonder if he saw it.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, and I texted him back when he was there. That's cool.
Let's see. The next one we got from Henry D, $10 US, to the cause and pursuit. So no question there.
Thanks.
But then he tossed another $10 in. It says, February 1st. He was laughing at you with your February 1st date when perseverance meets pursuit. Either grow or get up, get out, and get it in boss mode. The LZ project is dope. I look forward to being a Hex member. Nice.
So the best news of all of this, I'm glad that I closed on this. So the story of the building is it was the Villages, Florida is the largest retirement community in the world. It was started by Gary Moore, so a single guy. And then he's recruited all his friends and family to come and work in the business, because this same thing I do. Recruit everybody you know, all your friends and family, because you want to work with people you like. You want to work with people you trust. You want to work with people that have a good work ethic. And so, why not be, and the Morse family has been very intentional, it seems to me, with their next generations, and that it's the third generation and fourth generation running this multi-billion-dollar business, and so the Villages is really unique in that they sort of built this on an island in the middle of nowhere in Florida, not an island, but built it in the middle of nowhere, and so they were very smart, and the master planning that they did in building this community has been pretty remarkable in that they figured out how to create development districts, and then how to make, first of all, how to buy the land, how to make the land a municipality, how to develop the land, how to then, produce and build, homes at scale, and then how to, develop, talent around the area. And so they also built infrastructure of, commercial real estate, hospitals, town squares. So they built, developed commercial real estate, and brought in restaurants, and then of course they've brought in professionals, doctors, lawyers, and created reasons for people to come. They built schools in order to attract, because if you're recruiting and looking to sell homes to retirees, there's infrastructure that needs to be taken care of. There's roofers and framers and doctors and lawyers and all that kind of stuff. And so they also built, an attorney's office, and in order to do closings and title work and stuff like that. They built, they developed strategic relationships with surveyors and civil engineering firms and all this stuff. And they built a bank. They built, a real estate firm. They built all these different things. And so the story of how this building came about. So as they've developed this area, the bank has become wealthy. All the people that come here, they open their bank accounts. They have lots of deposits. It's been very successful, and their banking headquarters was here, on this side of town. Well, now the Villages is developing, 10, 15 miles south. I guess it'd be southwest of here. And so 2 years ago, they moved out of that bank building. It's just been sitting there for sale at some astronomical number that we never could have paid, at least not anytime soon. And so I'm friends with some of the third generation through Rex. So Rex, who is connected with everybody, because that's just the type of dude he is. And then, hit one of his customers is now, of course, basically part of his family. Their family, it might as well be, was one of the, the grandchildren of Gary Morse. And so Lindsay was Bryn's wife, who you saw me walk through the building on Inside the Hex. And then, Bryn basically made it happen to have us say, hey, this building is sitting on the books. It'd be perfect for Obsessed Garage. Let's get him in this darn building. And so they gave us a fire deal. And I just saw that Lindsay had announced that she stepped down as CEO, so she retired. And so I think all the stars aligned. We got really lucky in that, because without Lindsay, it would have never happened. Without Bryn and Lindsay, Bryn talking Lindsay into it and Lindsay agreeing to it, it would have probably never happened. And so, I believe there's timing and everything, and it seems like it's all worked out for us. But in order to get this deal done, now I know why there's a sense of urgency. Get it off the books. New CEO coming in. The new CEO wanted it off the books for sure. Now that they had a bird in the hand, and just let's get it off the balance sheet. Largely probably so he can start fresh from the beginning without big assets sitting on the balance sheet. Even though the size of the bank, it's probably not a whole burden on them, but now it's no longer a burden for them and more of a savior for us, and that we can bring everybody into one roof. And then of course I think one of the things I'm good at is figuring out a way to then parlay that purchase of a building into something cool that will be interesting for others, and then figure out a way to provide value to then get people to help buy stuff to help me pay for it.
Well, while we're on that topic, Joseph and Brendan in the chat here, curious what the bank used the warehouse space for in your new building.
So the bank was that building was built in 2005, and banking institutions back then still had a lot of paper. And so the warehouse was they had to sort of centralize and record keep, all the deposit slips. So they had certain regulatory, requirements to keep a certain amount of documents in place. And so the transition between the record keepers like Iron Mountain and stuff, they would have to keep caged in the warehouse. They'd have to keep all these documents, so they'd have to bring them in from all the different branches, sort them and organize them, and so that's what the current footprint of the warehouse was used for, was to sort and then temporarily store those documents. And then, of course, they had various document vaults for, I guess probably with that Social Security information, stuff like that. They didn't keep money there, but it was for all their corporate staff, corporate security, corporate, computing, technology, the executive team, all that stuff. They would have the, bank board meetings and stuff like that there. And so that's what that building was built for.
We've got a super chat here, $50 US. From Philip Zeems, who I believe he's the guy who won the Week at Helen.
Oh, cool.
Destination OG. So here's his thoughts. Here are his thoughts.
Okay.
Destination OG works. I'm staying there and being introduced to all these awesome products. I'm going to have a shopping spree this weekend on the OG website.
That's great. Yeah.
There you go. And let's see. We have people checking in from Ireland and Canada and Germany all so far today. That's kind of cool. Mike McCullough wants to know, hey, Matt, what do you recommend for an OG mattress? Getting a new one and would like something that's not a piece of garbage. By the way, the leather and pine diffuser is amazing.
I'm sure there's some more, OG spec or legit. I'm sure there's like a whole subculture of mattress stuff,
Mattress
right?
people.
And I only know, which is embarrassing to say, what you go to Mattress Firm, right? And that's what they got. And so I'm going to pick the best of what I can find there, because I don't have a passion for mattresses. And from my experience, all the mail order stuff, all the highly marketed stuff, the direct to consumer stuff you see, like the Purple and the ones they send in a
box,
where it's vacuum sealed. Same thing with pillows, where they send them to you in a vacuum bag and you undo it. They're just terrible. And so I think, and then the Tempur-Pedic idea seems great till you lay on one, and it's horrible. To me, it's a horrible sleeping experience. We tried. I bought a $10,000 whatever Tempur-Pedic, and it feels like amazing when you lay down on it. And then what I found is that as you sink into the Tempur-Pedic, then you hit the freaking board in the middle of it, and then you're laying on a board. It's one of those things. I'm sure you got to break it in and all that, but I just could never get going on that. And so I think Beauty Rest Black has been the best mattress that I've ever had. And so their Black series are moderately priced. You're going to be somewhere in the king size is going to be $500 to $7,500, something like that. But those have been my favorite mattresses.
Well, it's actually a black mattress too. Okay.
Yeah, mine's black, but it's not black. It was a black series. Now they are black.
Let's see. Zerwich04 says, "Hey Matt and Chris, Happy New Year to you both. Big year for OG. Will be exciting to watch and follow." Nice. Sam wants to know, how is the boot break-in going? I haven't seen you wear your boots. What's
I gave them away.
How long did you?
I wore them one time
okay.
to church for about an hour.
Right.
And they're just not for me. They're too. I'm sure they're going to be functionally excellent. You break them in, but they're like they didn't get excited. It wasn't like excited to put them on. They're like work boots. They're not like cool looking. And so, $600 trial and error. And I gave them to my buddy Danny, because who will actually use them to work in. And so, yeah, I was like, can you take these? Because they're just sitting here. They smell great in my closet, but I don't want to throw them away, and I'm not going to return them or try to return them. It's just not my style. So if you can use them, take them.
That's cool. So there you go, Sam. That's what happened to the boots. Dan Pfeiffer, our buddy in Minnesota. Congrats on the new building. Can't wait to see it in person. Yep, come on down. Scott Kelly wants to know, any chance we'll get a custom radar install series, since the Brewster or E92 are planning to stay long term?
Yeah, I got work to do on those. The E92 already has a radar detector. But if he's talking the full, like AI priority, laser jammer stuff, I don't like doing those in cars, because I don't know, it just seems like unnecessary when I can just put a decent one on the dash. We don't have a lot of laser stuff going on here.
Alex R says, "Happy New Year, guys. I'm starting a detail/coat on a new Rivian that I just picked up.
Nice.
It's a 2-year lease. I only want to put one coat on the plastic trim. Would you do XO-V5 or CSL as the sole coat?"
I do XO-V5. You're going to do just one. Yeah, it works really well on trim. Makes the trim look amazing.
Mike McCullough also says he got some front gate bath towels for Christmas, and they're so good. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, if you do get front gate, thanks. That's Troy Reed is the source of that for me. You would need to wash them like at least 4 or 5 times before they start to function, and then they're great.
So here's a weird question that just popped into my head. So do you wash them and then dry them?
Yeah, wash dry. So I did it 3 times before I used them, and they're still not super absorbent. And then after you get to like 5th, 6th time of washing them and drying them, then they seem to start working.
Gotcha. Let's see. Mikey wants to know, will you replace the Apex Air stubby for the OEM Ego stubby nozzle? Have you tried Ultra Air tools from the Rag Company? A lot of instances.
I don't think it needs to replace. I think that the advantage of the Ego stock stubby, it's cheaper, it's quieter, so whatever they did to the air going through it, it doesn't get quite as obnoxious. To me, it doesn't really matter, because I'm always putting the ear protection on now. The Apex Air is nicer, though. It's like better built. So I think I'm going to have both in the cabinet, and then I need to play with them longer to figure out which I would. You'll tend to gravitate toward what you like, and I need some time with that. But it's certainly not a mistake to have the Apex Air. I think it's great. It's sort of a shame for David that they came out with one, and but the one that they make OE is there's some advantages to it. And so it's got a rubber end on it, and it's quieter.
And then someone in here asked about the Ego pressure washer, if we've gotten that yet. No.
They still don't have them yet, and actually Chris Metcalf, who's the representative for Flex and Ego, came to visit. We had it on the schedule. It got stolen. So
in Miami, right?
Yeah. So he was at a hotel, so he shipped it to Miami. He was meeting there and doing some demos and stuff, or meeting with some other vendors and then retailers, and then came up to see us. But he's like, I came here to bring this stupid thing, and somebody stole it. So and they're like not in production yet, or maybe they're in production but they're not available yet, so they're hard to come by. I don't think it's going to be very good, but if it's good enough. I was talking to Tommy about we need to develop a solid apartment solution. Like, here are the things you need. Here's the carrying case kind of stuff. That would be cool. To develop a portable, because to wash a car, I would assume if you're using the pressure washer, you're probably going to end up with using 10, 15 gallons of water. So you need to figure out a way you're going to get 15 gallons of water down from your apartment. And so we really need a great sealed solution. Now, one thing you could do is you could just, fill up your buckets. But, yeah, I don't know. We've got some work to do to figure that out.
Tom Tarn wants to know, what are your thoughts on a slop sink in the garage? Nice to have, completely unnecessary?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have. I mean, I certainly would plan for it if you're building, just that every garage I've ever owned, we never had any water in there. So, I had water, but not a drain. And so, yeah, if you can plumb a drain in, then absolutely, it's a great thing to have.
Mikey wants to know, have you tried other pre-washes besides touchless? Koshimi's Actifoam is one that I think you'd love. The smell is amazing.
Yeah, I've got some of that, but I suspect, the science, I don't know, but the testing, certainly the testing and the amount of dedication that a touchless, that what Pete Hamber and his chemist and his team put into touchless, and the ability of touch, because how do you prove what it's doing to the coating, unless you're a chemist, you're looking at it under a microscope and stuff like that. I don't know how much research and how much work Kosh Chemie has done, but I do know how much Bill Hamber has done. And so, my apprehension to even use a rinse or a pre-wash and jacking up all this work that I did, I want to be sure of it. And I don't know how to be sure of it other than to use it for a long time and see. But even then, it would be hard to kind of prove it out. And so I'm trusting my gut here and trusting the relationship and, looking the guy in the eye who made the stuff, who's put his life's work into it, and versus, Kosh Chemie. I like Kosh Chemie a lot. I would suspect if we stacked up like for like, chemist for chemist, amount of time and energy put into it, I would guess that touchless is going to win. And so I would guess that the product is going to perform better. That's the gamble that I'm taking.
Alex Shanks says, hey, Maddie, whatever happened to Brad?
Brad he's a consultant for us now. So Brad moved and packed up him and his family, him and his wife moved from Colorado to Florida. So Brad worked with us for a couple of years as a consultant, helping us with the back end, non-organic stuff, I call it. And so I had sort of asked him one day, I said, what if we just had you come here and work exclusively with us, full time for a time? And I'd always assumed it would be for, a year or two. But I didn't know. Who knows? Maybe it was forever. And so his wife had got an incredible job offer back in Colorado, and we felt like we had completed the project, of him coming in and teaching, the young talent here, running a department, and getting us sort of set up for the next generation of our how we present and how we share. And so he was able to go back independent, continue to work with us, not for us, but with us, and save me a lot of money, because then he could take on some other clients too, and still stay a consultant. He could then go back to where they wanted to really be, which was in Colorado, and then him have the freedom to travel and do whatever, whenever. And so it kind of worked out for us nicely, mutually, in that his wife got an amazing job offer. They ultimately wanted to be in Colorado. It just all worked out for the best. And then I was able to get almost a similar amount of result minus the management side where he was managing a lot of humans, and worked out great. So.
And he's going to be a dad soon, so congratulations to Brad. Modified Bear says, I literally just got a front gate ad on YouTube before this started. Somebody wants me to buy some towels. Yep, go buy the towels. 13J00. Hey, Matt, how's the LZ project coming along?
It's great. Mike's there. Mike and Trevor and Mike are there doing, kind of completing all, like I said, all the construction part. It's coming together. I mean, what we'd envisioned, what it was going to look like is what it's looking like. It may even be a little bit better than I'd assumed. We're on schedule to get it done. I think we'll probably, we'll probably be largely done last week of January, first week of February. We may have to go back and, clean up, finish up a couple of things, but it's all coming together. Painters are there now. Mike's there finishing the major light project, which was the tongue and groove lights, and then I'll go there Monday, and we'll be doing cabinet install and making a bunch of videos with Adam and stuff like that. It's great. And now I'm hoping to really ramp up the collaboration with Adam so we can continue to pursue and chase the results of getting a ton more attention, a ton more people subscribing, and continue that momentum into these other major projects we have going, the garage giveaway, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's been going great. The one thing I didn't anticipate, I thought I'd have to be there the whole time, and after we had finished the you guys watch the videos and seeing all the decisions have to be made, all the adjustments and ordering and lining up. The part that many of you didn't see was all the behind the scenes stuff of me and Susie, probably spending an hour and a half to 2 hours a day for 6 months ahead of time to get this all lined up. Adam's assistant Marissa as well was instrumental in helping us get this done, because we couldn't do this project. I mean, you even see some of the inefficiencies of, you shouldn't do tile before you paint all the walls and do all this drywall and all this work, but I got to line it up. I've got to, and I don't have infinite time to do this, and so we made some concessions on how you would normally do a project to cut out any downtime, having people step, and trip over themselves, just so we could get the project done. Plus we're putting Adam and Colette out, and so they'd like to get moved back in, because that's where they live. So the project has been pretty freaking amazing, and it's hard work. It sucks. And Mike and Trevor and Mike, Waba have made a huge sacrifice to make this happen for, I think, the future, and we're going to be able to leverage this project forever. Just like I've leveraged all of cool projects that we've shared for video assets and be able to go back and share, I think, cool ideas with people forever.
And DC Wire wanted to know, when's the next LZ project video? So I looked it up for you.
It should be tonight.
Yep, tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern is when it's scheduled to be available. So tonight, DC Wire. Let's see here. Scott Taylor says, I'm going to be dialing in my engine bay soon. Okay. I've noticed you no longer sell hyperdressing. What's the new go-to? Motorplast? Pearl? Something else?
I don't know. I still use hyperdressing. That's what I got. I think you can still get hyperdressing.
It was gone for a while, but I think it's back.
Yeah, it's insanely expensive. I mean, you could use Pearl diluted, but it doesn't work as well. I still use hyperdressing. I still have some. Even it's a little moldy, a little chunky, but just call that organic version.
Jeffrey Hutchins says, after a wash, is it worth it to rinse the drying aid towels before storing them until the next wash? To rinse the drying aid towels before storing them.
Well, you would have to wash them, right? So maybe he's talking about in between washing them. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll throw something in the bucket, like some rags to riches in a bucket, throw your towels in there, get them soaking. I just throw them in the cabinet and then wash them whenever I'm ready to wash them. But you don't want to use them twice. You want to wash it for sure. So you want to wash it in the wash and dryer, with rags to riches.
Let's see. Our buddy Big Head James Clark says he's devastated to find that there aren't any hats that qualify for the garage giveaway. Maybe he'll try his hand at one of the shirts. Yeah, I was wary of the shirts at first, James, but I got one. I got the black Colette shirt. I like it.
Yep.
It's a little heavier than the other ones, but that's kind of nice sometimes. So
yeah, it's a different material. They're 100% cotton, which is a different feel, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to have the design shirt, which I think is really cool, is also on a different type of shirt. I think people are going to like.
Yeah, get one of the black shirts, James. I think you'll like it. Detailing 101 says, gentlemen, greetings from CJC Detailing in Maryland. It's our buddy Cameron here. Enjoy the weekend, Matt. I'm looking forward to all the rants ahead for those wanting a discount after seeing the investment and purchase of the new HQ. Oh, yeah, those are coming for sure.
Yeah, the part that people who aren't Inside the Hex members didn't get to see this, but they see, oh, man, Matt's rolling in the dough. We just bought this, this crazy building. Well, keep in mind, first, where we live, I mean, I bought that building for $3 million. If we would have bought that anywhere else, it'd be 10, right? So we got 26,000 square feet for, what is that, $90 a square foot or something like that, which is insane. It would cost $350 $400 a square foot to build that darn place. And so, and that, getting a lot, developing and all that stuff and all the time, it would take, 2 years to build the stupid thing. So, it would cost at least in this area $7 million to build that thing, $7, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 million to build it. So we were able to get the building for a price that net after we get rid of, so these two leases, like we're paying about $12,000 a month for these two buildings with sales tax. I think it's $5,500 per building. I know that both leases were up and they were going to ask for more, I'm sure. So it's going to be at least $12,000 a month that we're paying in leases for these two buildings. Then each one of these buildings has 2 electric bills. So this has 2 bills, the other one has 2 bills. And then we have, 4 water bills. So 4 electric bills, 4 water bills. And then we have like 2 different ADT bills and these other bills that we have. And then I have the other building up there, and so I have a van, and I have an extra forklift, and then I've got extra insurance because I got to have insurance on that building, and then I got to pay for that building, and I got property tax on that building. So when you take all of it together, so we have about 11,000 square feet of buildings now. We're going to go to 25, almost 26,000 square feet of buildings, and I'm going to bring everybody to one spot. And so let's just say my mortgage cost is, $25,000, but with taxes, insurance, all that stuff a month. And we were at, say, $18,000 a month before. And so my monthly expense goes up $6,000 or $7,000. But I'm going to gain a lot of synergy and have to probably hire 2 or 3 less people over the course of the next year, which would be, $120,000, $150,000, $180,000, $200,000 that I'll save from labor redundancy. I'll sell the truck or the van. I'll sell the extra forklift, and we get to basically the math is it doesn't cost me that much more to now own it. Of course, I got to make some capital investments over time, but I've done the same thing to these buildings as well. And so it's from a financial perspective, it's a pretty lateral move for a doubling of real estate and space. And then a more appropriate sized building and structure of the building with the parking lots and things like that. It's a more, friendly to what we're doing in the future. So it's a pretty lateral, slightly upward move from a cost perspective, but a significant upgrade from a real estate size, and need perspective.
Our Canadian buddy Philippe wants to know. He always wants to know this. Any word about OG Canada? So today you had a chat, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm still on. I think we're still on schedule. The goal was, by June this year. I think we're still on schedule to be starting to ship product. I've got to do some negotiating, put some deals together, but I think we're going to be able to get it done.
Wyatt says, hey guys, Matt, how's the watch collecting going?
It's not. I have 3, same 3. I have the Black Dial, regular Submariner, the Batman, and the Starbucks.
Sunny Color says Happy New Year. Let's get some new at-home wash and talks. You got any of those planned?
Yeah, I was planning on doing a Rivian this weekend.
Okay. Let's see. Brendan says, hey, Matt, I'm building a home in Fort Myers, moving in June.
Okay.
We could not be more excited for the 2-car garage.
Yep.
How would you allocate a $10,000 to $15,000 budget? I already have Swiss tracks. AC first? Question mark.
Yeah, you'd want obviously paint, right? So you'd paint. So first thing you do would be lights and paint. So you're gonna want Creed linear fixtures. So for that garage,
2-car garage.
Yeah, I mean you're probably looking at say $1,800 or so. So you'd need probably 4 8-footers, maybe 6 8-footers in there. If you really wanted to have it really well lit, and then you'd need a POW pack and and a couple of Picos to control it. So first money allocated, hit up Kyle and the design team, have them design you some lights, get your lights ordered. No matter what lights are in there, you want to take them out and do the Cree linear fixtures in there. So then allocate some money for an electrician if you don't know how to do that. Then you'd want cabinets and Sabre, Sonic, ProSlat, something like that. So you'd want some cabinets. And so cabinets are going to be, $10,000. So that's going to blow a good portion of your budget. And then from there, custom install pressure washer. So there's another 3. So you're at like your $15,000 right there. If you did pressure washer, lights, you already have the flooring, and paint. So painting, lighting, cabinets, pressure washer, lights. Again.
More lights.
That's it. Lights twice. 3 times.
Very well lit place.
Yeah, and then you're, depending on what your cabinet array looks like, you're somewhere in that budget.
Toto says, hope all is well. I'm just curious if your team has used any Labo Cosmetica products and your thoughts. Seems like a great premium brand that needs a top-notch distributor in the U.S.
No, I've seen them before, seen them around. I don't know. Interesting looking brand. But I just kind of walked through the booth and shook the hand of the guy at SEMA, but I don't know that I'm hurting for any product that isn't working particularly well at the moment.
Dylan says, hey, Matt, in the past, when you've talked about stretching financially to buy your first M3, how much were you making at the time and what were your expenses? Congrats on the new building.
Let's see. So I bought that car when I was in Claremont. So I bought it into 2010. It was a 2011 model year. So I still owned the home. So I owned so this was 2010. So I had owned that home for 5 years. So I'd already done the upgrades like the tile and stuff like that in the house. And so that was an 1,822 square foot house. I think what did I pay? $282 for it. So I had a $220,000 mortgage at roughly, I'd say 4%. So what was my mortgage? Maybe $1,200 a month, something like that. Let's see, 2010. So I started at Merrill Lynch in 2005. And then by 2010, I was probably making like $80,000, something like that by then. $70,000, and Michelle was making another 50 or 60. So as a couple, we're making say $110,000, some $120,000, something like that. I didn't have any other debt, I don't think. I had paid off my student loans by then.
Do you have kids yet? Was Ryan around?
Ryan was born in 2010, so he was born right at that time. So he was born at the very end of 2010. So I think, we didn't have any. So because we had put 20% down. Now the problem is we were upside down in our house, and our house was worth $120,000, and we owed $220 on it. $200 on it by then. And we did want to move up to here right after that, but I didn't know that was coming. Yet. So I had decided to keep the S2000 because the original plan was to get a B8 S4 and have that be my only car. And then when I decided to cancel that order and get the M3, I didn't want to drive the M3 all the way up here all the time. And so I kept my S2000 as my commuter, my second car, and then had the M3. And so the M3 was $65,000. I want to say my payment was probably like $1,100 a month or something like that. So put it in perspective, we're making $10,000 a month. We have a $1,200 a month mortgage, and I bought a car and had another, $1,100 a month I had to spend, money on.
VTech SPD 93 says, Happy New Year, Matt and Chris, and OG crew. I have a detailing question.
Mm-hmm.
Tire browning.
Yep.
What is best to get rid of it? I've tried BrakeBuster, full concentration, several attempts, and it's still not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, tire browning is pretty easy to get rid of. It's just it generally comes back, right? And so the products that I find work best for that, one that will definitely take it off would be mineral spirits. You can get that at Home Depot. Just spritz it on or dump it on a towel, or cotton towel or old microfiber towel, and just go to town on cleaning the wheel. I find that tends to strip the tire a whole bunch, and then I find that it comes back quicker then, then your tire won't accept tire dressing quite as well. But the product that will really help would be to clean it with BrakeBuster. Generally, what I do when I get a new set of tires is I clean it with Shine Supply Wise Guy, which is a more aggressive all-purpose type cleaner for tires. Then I would denib it and then wipe it with Stoner's Terminator, and then I would dress it, and then I would do my normal just BrakeBuster maintenance. And tires will brown again if you set them out in the sun. So actually on my truck tires, I stopped dressing them altogether and just do mineral spirits every once in a while, or do that cleaning process. Like the Rivian, I don't dress it because I only wash that thing once every couple of months. So but that's the procedure. That's the process I go through.
Jared Chronister says, Hey, Matt, I just ordered Swiss tracks last weekend for my new 3-car garage.
Nice.
Where do you start laying them out? Garage doors, back wall, something else?
Yeah, you got to start on the door. So what you do, put your door down, put your edge pieces on, and your first 2 rows of tiles, and then kick it up into the door. Like, kick it flush. And if you're doing any kind of border or anything, that's where you'll set it up. And so you're going to lay out from the front of the garage, or from the garage door back. And because if you have a 3-car garage like that, you could float the whole thing, pushing it around. If you have staggered doors, then you've got to kind of figure that out as well. And so that's where you always start at the garage door and then work your way to the back wall. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a weird, because you can't make a cut on the garage door. You could, but then you have to do the little stitch pieces. You don't want to do that. So you want a full tile with a full edge piece right smack in the middle of the garage door. And so every time I do it, that's how I do it.
Can we send him a link to this video? Is this good?
Yep.
Your dad's garage. 723,000 views. Your dad. Let's see here. When can we order Built Hamber pre-wash? Donkey Mac wants to know. Not today.
Yeah, within weeks. So we're getting close.
Charles LeBlanc says, Happy New Year. When are you expecting to draw for the garage giveaway?
We do it the Friday after the 15th. So what is that?
It's the 19th.
The 19th, yeah. Yep, 19th.
Let's see here. White Goodman. He's looking at old videos here. I watched Matt's video at the Rupes training.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about protection. And now I'm scared of ceramic coatings, especially always washing my car and spot correcting spots with the coating would be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's one of the trade-offs is that I think the way to do it is, especially if you're daily driven cars, I would just coat it every year. So, I would, after every winter, I would then polish it off and coat it again. And I mean, how many cars are you going to have for 15 years? We're going to do that every year. You're not going to, you're not going to have to worry about, polishing too much. And if you do a light polishing and just recoat it every year, you're not going to be removing a whole lot of paint. But that's what we all used to do. Just decon it, polish it, re-wax it. Do that every 8 months or so. But you can do the same thing with a coating. You're just not going to do as much spot treating because you don't need to, because it lasts longer. But when it starts to get crunchy and, same thing what waxes do where you start to get contamination and stuff, you'd usually leave it a little bit longer than you may like, just because it's still beading and still doing its work, still doing its job protecting. And then you go and decon it later. And if you take really good care, you can probably stretch your coating for 2 years or so. But all this bull crap about 5 years or 9 years is stupid. Yeah, the coating might still be on there to some extent, but it's going to be all contaminated and scratched up and gross. Now, if your car just sits in the garage all the time, then sure, a coating lasts forever. But I look at coating like I look at wax. You know, like I'm thinking about the E36. I'm going to do that one again here soon. The coating's been on there for probably, a year and a half or so. And, I've put a few miles on the car, and I'll just polish it off and start over.
He did follow it up with the fact that he bought Jesscar Ultralock Plus. Heard it is amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Frankie M wants to know, does the Snap-on truck still come by?
I think so.
Yeah, they were here whenever you weren't here when they came by.
I paid off my balance,
yeah.
So
they were able to figure that out, how much you owed exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've never been so disinterested in my life of imagine it was like the Wera screwdriver truck came by. I'd be buying stuff every week, or imagine it was like anything cool. Imagine it was like the Canon camera, truck. I'd love to go on there and just see what's new all the time, and yeah, I have no interest. Even with your money, Chris, I'm not buying anything.
I appreciate that. That's nice. The Snap-on Gnome, however, at least we got one good
I
thing
tried
out
to
of
throw
that.
it away. Chris pulled it out of the trash.
Not the first time. Not the last time. Charles says, thank you, Matt. I had the 1122 for years. I picked up the 1322 during the Black Friday sale, and it is amazing.
Yeah. It's it's the same pump, just slightly reconfigured.
The Sam Squatch says, congrats on the new warehouse. It's massive. Can't wait to see what spin you guys put on it.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to walk around in there, compared to what we're used to, where I can get from this building to the corner of the other building next door in 30 seconds. That one, you get, we'll have a new, employee disappearing act, that we'll have to have.
Lots of good hiding places.
Yeah, all kinds of places to hide in there. Yep.
Invasion HD says, which is the new ego blower of choice since the old model is discontinued?
I mean, I think you've got to go the 765 is the second best outside. The 580 is still my favorite, but the 765 is the best one.
Yeah, we still have some of the 580. Those are still around, but that is discontinued. Dr. Phil, we've been over this before, but since it's from Dr. Phil, we'll refresh this one. I was going through the giveaway items and was curious as to the reasoning of using a small batch of items versus opening it to the entire product line. I'm sure there's a logical business reason.
Yeah, I need people to buy things they weren't going to buy otherwise, right? If you just buy a bunch of stuff in the store that you're already going to buy, and I give away $100,000 garage, then I go bankrupt. And so I need things like digital entries. What we really wanted for this, the main things I want people to buy was just buy it on a raffle ticket, buy a proverbial raffle ticket by getting digital entry, because digital entry has no cost to me. And so it helps offset the cost of the thing. So basically, on this one, I wanted people to buy raffle tickets as much as possible. And then we have some items in there to, convince people to do that as well.
Michael Mraz says, I'm sure it's already been brought up, but I can't wait for the OG team to do a review on the new Giraffe vacuum.
They must spend so much money on ads. It's unbelievable. I get it every single day, all day, multiple times.
Let's see. Stratcom says, will a purchase of a back-ordered item still qualify for a garage giveaway? Sonic Tools socket set. Yes.
Yep,
Stratcom.
100%.
Yes, definitely. Ryan wants to know, are there any recommendations for a wedding registry? I have the idea of putting useless junk on a registry, but I know many of our guests would agree it's easier on them to have a detailed registry.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that process of the wedding registry, going to Bed Bath & Beyond, Williams and Sonoma, wherever we went, to Macy's or something like that, and I spent countless hours constructing that. And then we got a bunch of stuff, a bunch of junk. Some idiots, they want to be creative, and so they buy you junk that you don't want, and so then you figure out where they got it from, and you take that all back. And so then I was able to, take a bunch of stuff back, like me choosing, should I get Wusthof or J.A. Henkel's, and thinking about how high end the stuff at Bed Bath & Beyond was back in the day, and I was just like, man, this is gonna be amazing. And then I was able to take some stuff back that we decided we didn't want, and I got my KitchenAid mixer. We still have that thing to this day. What are they, like $250 or something? I was like, man, this is gonna be wild. It's gonna be amazing. I had so much fun, because we got married, stayed at a hotel, came home for 30 seconds to grab our bags, went to Jamaica. which I also thought was awesome. It's freaking gross. It's amazing how things change over time. The restaurants you used to think were great, and so then I came home and was able to kind of sort through everything and count the monies, figure out what we got. It was awesome. I love Williams-Sonoma. I love those kind of cooking utensils and stuff. Yeah.
Let's see. Evasion HD wants to know, what is a good alternative to the Krenzla pump oil? Any specific links or websites to purchase non-Krenzla branded oil?
You need 5W50 from any brand is fine. Just use a synthetic 5W50 oil. I use AMSOIL. You can use Mobil One, whatever. You don't need the Krenzla Gear oil. You can use any oil. It's really the lubrication is for the radial axial thing, the little plate that turns in there. But the main oiling is for the springs and plungers. And so, there's been people who run Krenzla's oil dry and just keep going. They are DLC coated, so there's a ceramic coating on there on the pistons, but it's not like your traditional there's no combustion going on there, so it's not super critical. But you want a 5W50 oil.
Can you use BrakeBuster straight in a spray bottle? Do you need to dilute it, or can you dilute it?
No. I use straight, only straight.
Let's see here. Since you mentioned it, this is from Stephen in the chat. What kind of church do you go to?
Southern Baptist.
Joel says, shout out from Australia. Can't wait for you guys to come to Australia.
Yep, working on that as well.
Bobby says, can Uncle Matty explain what the process is to use Woof's glass sealant?
Yeah, so when I'm doing glass sealant, I always like to polish the glass first. So grab a microfiber cutting pad. I use the new Rupes pads, and you should just grab whatever polish you're using on the car. Griot's Fast Correcting Cream, Jescar Correction Compound. If the glass is a little dirtier looking, you could grab some Sonex Cut Max or something like that, and hit the glass. You remember, you're not polishing the glass; you're just cleaning the glass. So just turn the speed up to 6 and hammer down on it. Just get it clean. Wipe it off with either 90 whatever percent isopropyl alcohol, or I use Rupes Blue. So the Rupes Blue, really super harsh paint prep to clean it, and clean it really, really well. And then apply Wolf's in circles, on the surface. Let it sit for 20 minutes. Come back, spritz a little bit. So grab your microfiber waffle weave towel, your glass cleaning towel, 2 of those. Spritz it with a little bit of invisible glass. That'll help it come off a little easier, but not destroy it. And then do that same one more coat, and then buff it off nicely. You're gonna use some elbow grease to buff it off. It's not like a coating where you're leveling it. You got to get it off.
Kyle Toppin wants to know, is there any estimate when you'll be ready to show us what OG Spec Russo cabinets look like, and when you'll be ready to take orders?
We're ready to take orders now. Kyle could show you. We have the toolbox there. No question. Those are the cabinets you want. If you can afford them, if you can swing it, there's absolutely no question. You just got to pick the color you want. Design and figure out the color. It would take some more time, for the guys to design it, because we're not experts in it. But the Russo team they're massive experts. We would leverage them and take you through it. I'm going to do Russo in the studio in the new building for sure. So I'm going to do some MSS Plus and the Russo stuff. So it'll be we'll be showing it here in the next within 6 months.
Sonhing says, congrats guys on the new building. I was wondering if you've tried any of the DIY detail products or what you think of them.
I don't know that I've tried any. I'm sure they're fine. Nick and Ivan are friends, and they're working hard, and Ivan has lots of connections in the industry to get decent chemicals made. There may be something in there that we should maybe consider. But I'm sure we've had them all. I haven't tested them all out.
Jose Brito in the chat says, I'm finally selling the BMW M5 from the giveaway.
Oh, nice. I thought you already sold that. Maybe it was just listed for sale. That's cool.
He's selling it now. So if you want that M5, get a hold of Jose.
That's a good looking car.
Simon says, hey team, good afternoon from Down Under. Just received my OG spec pressure washer gun. Next stop is an 1152.
Nice.
Can't wait for the experience. Loving the LZ transformation. Keep up the great work.
Hopefully I'll be able to sell you that 1152 soon. That's the goal.
Charlie95 says, Matt, you sold me on Snake River. The meat quality is amazing.
It's awesome.
The Wagyu burgers almost melt in your mouth.
Yeah, I've
That sounds really good.
I bought lots of different meat companies, and something about a Snake River Farms ribeye. The Wagyu ribeyes are amazing. Even they have Black Series and Gold Series, and they just recently started doing 1-inch steaks, which is nice for if you're just eating by yourself, because when you do their 1.5 it's like 24 ounces. It gets a little too big for you to eat, and then you end up wasting. And so the 1-inch, I don't think when you a 2-inch or 1.5 or 2-inch steak to me always tastes better. It's just easier, I find, to nail it. But the 1-inch stuff is what I've been buying a lot. It's cheaper and more single serving sized.
Oh man, I'm so hungry.
But usually what we do is I'll make the 1.5 inch, 20-ish, a pound plus ribeye, and then the whole family will eat it, and especially if you're doing like American Wagyu from them, it's so rich, you can't, you don't need to eat the whole thing. It fills you up pretty quickly. Yeah, I just made an order yesterday.
You'd be proud of me, Matt. I'm going to Ruth's Chris tomorrow for dinner. So
Ooh, nice.
I'll send you a picture. Matt, this is from Dang Ross. Get your hands dirty at LZ House. It's good for you.
Yeah,
he's tossing toilets around.
Yeah, my hands were dirty as crap and scratched and beat up. I finally healed up. Now it's going to be fun. I'm telling you, putting in all this cool stuff is going to be great.
JForm 814 says, when it comes to washing microfiber towels, have you ever looked into O3 laundry systems?
Mm-mm.
Or 03? Okay.
Nope. Speaking of laundry systems, I just discovered this really cool drying cabinet from ASCO that I'm now want. So ASCO's a ASKO see that thing? Isn't that freaking sweet?
Oh my.
Yeah, so it's like a
vented drying cabinet.
Right. So I'm assuming you'd like hook it up to your dryer, vent, and let's say you're drying clothes. So basically drying racks inside of a closet. You open the door, and then it probably has air cycling through. Tell me that combo of that next to the stacker washer and dryer doesn't look freaking sick.
You can hang up your stuff and dry it that way. That's nice. Ooh.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Very European.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty sick. So what is $2,500 or so? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. In the O3. Yeah, I don't know what that is. O3 Pure Leak. Ozone Eco Laundry System. Eco Laundry, Matt frowns upon that.
Yeah.
Need Speed Queen.
I wouldn't if it worked.
Using all the water. Brian says, Matt, I'm looking to get a GT3.
Okay.
Which would you suggest? 991 GT3 RS or 992 GT3 manual? I've never had a PDK, so I don't know if it will be as fun or involving as a manual.
It will be. If you're getting GT3, I like the 991s better, than my 992. I just do. So 991.2 GT3 in a manual is pretty freaking amazing. My favorite one of all of them is the 991.1 GT3 RS. Just something about how it looks, how it drives, how it sounds. That's my favorite version of the car. But if you're getting a GT3, I think you go with a manual 991.2 would be my preference.
86 says, hey, Matt and Chris, I'm having my new Civic Type R coated and PPF applied.
Okay.
I asked my guy if he could correct the paint before applying the PPF.
Okay.
He said you must have watched the OG touring video.
Yeah, you got to correct it beforehand. I mean, you don't have to, but you should. So I corrected, then coded, then did PPF, then did a coating, and then did another coating. So protection on top of the protection. And actually, there's some double layers of PPF as well on the car. So
Ricky says, hey guys, Happy New Year. Notice the last podcast wasn't uploaded. Are you guys going to upload the podcast so they can be available to listen to later?
yeah,
Yes.
It should be.
Yeah, I'll get with Tim this
Something
afternoon.
messed up.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Brian says, how's the jean collection going? Any suggestions? And then Finney says, which brand of jeans do you prefer?
So it's not going. So what I did is I bought a bunch of Levi's and a bunch of Cinch, right? CINCH. Neither are the end goal here. I'm looking to settle in at 200 to 210 in weight, and so I don't want to go buying fancy stuff like Ironheart and getting custom fit Japanese denim here yet, but I will. But I'm waiting to see where I settle in at weight wise before I go and do that. And so right now I have like 513s, 527 athletic fit. I forget all the models of. I bought essentially one of every slimmer fitting, not skinny, but it's what they call slim from Levi's.
Mm-hmm.
So there's I think 9 different styles, and I bought one of each. And I think 3 of them was sent back. I don't remember which. I think it was like 508s, 513s, 527. I don't remember all the models that I ended up keeping. I sent like 3 or 4 of them back.
Brian Louderback says, have you chatted with Gary Brecka yet?
No, I think he's I think we're destined to at some point. But I had thought I'd paid or tried to sign up for a 1 hour Zoom call with him, but they never followed up.
Our buddy Philippe in Canada says the OG Garage giveaway winner is going to be from Canada. We'll see, Philippe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's see. Brian wants to know, hey, Matt, you said Rousseau cabinets are your new favorites. Can you tell us what exactly are the differences between those and MSS Plus? Also, about what would the price difference be between the two?
So Rousseau's a little bit less, I think, depending on how you configure it. It's a little bit less, like 5% plus or minus over MSS Plus. MSS Plus, fit and finish, second to none. The corners are squarer, the welds are weldier, the whole thing. The powder coat finish is perfection. And I found that so was Rousseau. Unlike Lista, it wasn't really perfect. It was really nice, but you just kind of dealt with some of the industrial look of the Lista. I think that the handles are better on Sonic. I like how they're inset. I like how they their wire pipe system. I think that they're easier to put together. Again, so fit and finish is the best. The style in many ways is the best, but they don't have a lot of choice. One color, 6 different cabinets, and so your configurability is minimized. Rousseau is full carte blanche, whatever you want to do. And so if you want a different color, if you want different, size or style or setup, we go Rousseau. I think, like if I had one garage, just one garage and that's it, I think I would buy Sonic. Unless I wanted not black. But if I had one garage, I could buy one cabinet. I'm going to set it up one way, and I didn't have any really weird, unique circumstances that I needed to overcome. I'm going to do Sonic. The other thing that will automatically move you to Rousseau if you want to mount the cabinets on the wall and not do the wire pipe system and the standalone system, then you're going to want to do Rousseau.
BH says, a quick thank you to the excellent OG support team. They got me set up with a couple of parts I needed for my wall mount pressure washer. I'm converting my 1122 to a wall mount.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's the team. The big advantage is that you got to get in the queue. Yeah, you got to wait a few minutes or a few days at the most, and but then you're going to get the answer you need to get the right stuff.
Paulie Witt says, "Hey Matt, did you receive the package I sent to you at the LZ compound address?"
I don't know. Maybe.
So he might have been here when it
I got
arrived.
lots of packages.
Progression Decibel says, "Happy New Year. On Black Friday sale, I ordered a bunch of products, some of which I chose the Pressall upgrade. In my order, I got a gray industrial sprayer. Which products should be used with that sprayer?"
You can use anything with it. I mean, the only product that really, struggles with is Brake Buster. It'll still work. You'll lose your dual action probably 6 months in, and then summertime after that it'll clog up and fail. We're working on that.
All right, Brendan, he's the one who asked about the $10,000 to $15,000 budget for his garage in Florida. Appreciate the budget insight. I would have assumed a mini split would be higher priority. Is it too early to spoil myself with Sonic? I'm 23. Haha.
I would do the mini split last because what you can do in Florida, and this is what I used to do in my garage, I would insulate the door, right? So go to Home Depot, and if it doesn't already have an insulated door, which it probably doesn't, you would just put little things in the door. And then when you're going to be out there for prolonged periods of time in the summer, then I would just open the door to the house and maybe grab like a little fan and have it blow into there. But I remember that's what we used to do in my brown house, just open the door to the house. It takes longer to cool down, but then it becomes manageable and bearable in there.
Matt, is there a specific safe or safe brand that you recommend? Have you had any experiences with different safes?
No, I have a Fort Knox, and then we have a Fort Knox vault at Helen. I think they're pretty much the standard. I did quite a bit of research, and it seemed to me that Fort Knox was the best option because they make great safes. I don't think there's any question of that, and they have great availability all over the country. So no matter where you move, you'll be able to get them the support.
Quentin says, let's see. Oh, I just lost it. Sorry. Hey guys, I'm in the planning process of my garage.
Okay.
I'm stuck on what size I could fit. Would you prefer a wider garage or a deeper garage?
I think deeper. Not too car deep, but let's say I had a choice between 38 by 22 or 35 by 24, I'd choose the 35 by 24. That's basically what my garage is. I think 36 by 24 or something like that, which is really nice. Having that extra depth means I can have full depth cabinets, and I can park, a Rivian level or even Raptor, and still have a little bit of room to work around it. Or if my cars are in there, I've got like almost 10 feet between the front of the cabinet and the front of the car. Gives me room to do stuff.
Shane Joseph wants to know if you have any successful marriage advice.
Yeah, I think you're looking for somebody that isn't codependent. You see so many relationships, and some people can pull this off where they're like one person, where they do everything together, every single thing they do together. But I think, for me, I wouldn't be able to do that, because then I'm so darn selfish that, everything we did would be her life. Some of the unsuccessful marriages I've seen have been one of the spouses, it's been their life, and the other person was along the ride for their life. And that those kind of inseparable people, if you're inseparable, that becomes eventually generally insufferable. Now, that's not always the case. There's some people that are just, destined to be together forever, and you've got either a really submissive wife or a really submissive husband, somebody who just likes doing whatever the other person does, go with the flow. But I think that, like with Michelle and I, a lot of it is we do our thing and come back together. And I never feel like if she doesn't want to go to a car show or something, she doesn't think she's ever gone to any car thing ever. I don't give a crap. I don't want her to go, Mm-hmm. Whereas, to see some people that, wife has to go, otherwise you can't go kind of thing. Or husband has to go, otherwise you can't go. Same thing with, like her and sports and stuff like that. I don't have to go to all the stuff she's coaching and everything to sometimes I'll go just because I want to go. But I think you need independence and the ability to be independent, and then come back together. And if there's a lot of effort that has to happen, I'm not into that. It should be effortless. The whole thing should be effortless, right? It shouldn't be this big chore that everybody's got to work on it all the time. It should just be able to both exist and enjoy it. If you, especially in the beginning, if you're having all these fights and opposites attract, and if you have some people just thrive on the drama of things. It's just, why go there? Life's too short.
We got some denim advice for you here, including our buddy Chris at Service Plumbing Incorporated.
Okay.
He says, "Hey Matt, it's Chris, your plumber.
Okay.
Try out either Tommy Bahama jeans or Carhartt."
Yeah.
I feel like you would have had some Tommy Bahama somewhere.
I'm looking for where there's a whole subculture. There's a whole class of denim, right? And there's like a world that you don't know about, or I didn't know about either, that I'm starting to get into. It's just like detailing. You can go to the aisle at Walmart and get yourself some Turtle Wax ice, and get a decent result. Or there's me, there's this. I've got a $880 Mirka 3-inch polisher. There's different worlds, but yeah, selvage Japanese denim is something that exists. And by the way, they don't have a length, right? So you buy your waist, and then the inseam is then altered. So all these fancy jeans that you buy, like if you buy, just a bunch of different brands out there, but you buy them, that's not it. $49, I can already tell. You're talking $449 or $649 for the ones we're talking about. Then you have to go get them sized, and fit.
Gotcha. So you got to take it to a tailor.
Like look at Ironheart, Ironheart Japanese denim. Yeah, you got to have them tailored.
There you go. That's the first thing that pops up here on the search. Ironheart. Yeah. All right, Chris from Service Plumbing. Save your money. Don't listen to Matt. Just keep buying the Carhartts.
Yeah. Ironheart America. There you go. Yep. Yep.
All right. Yeah, and that's what. So Michael C. says selvage denim is better quality than
correct.
That. All right.
Yep.
Let's see here. Another DIY question. Yep. I'm sure it's already been brought up. Yes, I brought that up. Sorry. Have you thought about adding a steel structure manufacturer for standalone garages through your site?
No, but that is something someday we could probably figure out. Some way to sell like a modular turnkey solution, where if we partnered with a brand like that, like a Morton Buildings or something like that, where they provide the solution, we provide the outfitting, So that's in the cards possibly someday.
Hey Matt, Ricky wants to know: have you gotten your hands on the new Ego vacuum yet?
I haven't, but we have. It's been running around here getting used for stuff. I'm not sure about it. I haven't used it yet.
Also, are you planning to do any more wash and talks soon?
Yeah, I was just saying I'll do one this weekend, and then I have 3 or 4 of them scheduled for back at LZ Compound.
Ryan wants to know: greetings from Toronto. Wondering if the new location you guys are going to rework with DePosco to set it up to software specs, or was that already sorted on the back end, or just use the existing software?
We'd use existing software. It would be an add-on essentially. So it'd have to write some more code, and it becomes a satellite location in the software, and then we have to set that up. But more cost, but not nearly the substantial cost we have the initial rollout.
MIGL says, hey Matt and Chris, great work on Adam's house, by the way. Out of all Adam's cars that you have driven so far, is there one you like the most?
Well, that's an easy one, the GT3 Touring. So yeah.
Brad, our buddy Brad out west, says, good morning, OG Matt and Chris. Good morning, Brad. What is one of the biggest lies, Evan wants to know, or misconceptions in the detailing industry?
I don't really like that term lie. That's what the political parties tend to, or people tend to use. You're lying. Like you're not really. Yeah, lying to me seems a lot more complex than that. Lying would be I don't know, it just seems more convoluted. Like Jeffrey Epstein seems like a lie of some sort.
Yeah.
That to me is when I think of a lie. I think of it. I think of a lie as a bigger thing than just like a. Some people use that term too loosely. I think. In detailing, I don't know that there's a bunch of that. The thing that frustrates me most in the detailing world is the pro-only model. I just think it's such a terrible model. It's such a terrible copycat thing to do that, every single company just copies what every other company does. And then they just sort of fight for new people. I think their argument might be that, well, it's just the best model. It's the best way to do it. So that's just why everybody does it the same way, which I think is ridiculous. To have a coating that is available only to a professional when, and then they sell a professional on how easy it is to install. It's like, why don't you just teach everybody how to do it? Because if I'm a professional, let's say I was a professional detailer. So polishes, anybody can buy. Polishers, anybody can buy. All the other parts and pieces, the wheel cleaner, the pressure washer, everything else in pressure washing or in detailing is available. All the hard stuff, all the stuff that people shouldn't have access to. The easiest part, which is the last step, which is to put the coating on, is the one that then they say, well, this is for professionals only. And if I was a professional, I wouldn't want that crap. I'm going to look for ones that anybody can get. Well, really, I'm going to look for the best coating, but I would like it much more if it was a product that everybody could get, because then it would be marketed to more people. More people would know about it. They'd know to ask for it, and I would probably get more business in the long run. So it's just so short-sighted and so asinine that you would sell your best product that's the easiest to install to your professional that generally doesn't have a lot of money to pay. So they're usually, have a tough time paying their bills on average. They don't buy a lot of it because they can't, because you can only do so many cars. And then you're limiting their marketability because the product is only available to them. It just seems stupid to me. It doesn't seem stupid. It freaking is stupid.
Invasion HD says, hey, Matt, is the AMSOIL Signature Series 5W50 100% synthetic motor oil the one you would use on the Crenson?
That's it.
Brad, our buddy out west, says, working on planning 2025 Helen trip.
Okay.
Our guest couple loved it. They are ready for round 2.
Nice.
That's cool. Cars with JR says, just ordered the backpack for the giveaway. Looks promising. More orders to come.
Oh, speaking of Destination OG, I think what I'm going to do, I'll announce this right now so you can hit me up, or Manny at obsessedgarage.com. So I'm going to do a drop. I have 15 weeks that I've identified that probably people aren't going to buy long term, right? So January, February, people aren't going to generally purchase. Sometime September, October, the early weeks of November, the early weeks of December, like the non-holiday weeks.
Okay.
So there's 15 or so weeks a year that we're going to struggle to sell. And so what I'm going to do this year, and in future years, I don't know that I care about selling them, but this year, because of the purchase of the new building, and we still have, we haven't recouped the significant investment we put into Destination OG. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 15-week drop, so you can pick 2 weeks. So I have 2 weeks in October, 2 weeks in October, November, December. There's 2 weeks of each month that's available.
Okay.
The 4 weeks of January, which of course, 1 or 2 of them are already gone. The weeks in February as well. $5,000 all in. I pay the expenses just like I did when I did the initial drop. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in booking one of those weeks, now you can't allocate that to the middle of summer or anything outside of these time frames. Once I book 2 weeks in September, I'm going to leave the other 2 weeks available at the normal price. So September, October, November, December. You can't book Thanksgiving week. It's just going to be the first couple of weeks of the month that usually we find that aren't as many people off during that time. And so those harder to sell weeks, $5,000 all in. I'll pay the tax. I'll pay the the cleaning fees. I'll pay all that stuff. And hit me up if you want to book one of those weeks.
Blue Delta jeans. You ever heard of those?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Someone recommended those. Fully custom, made in USA.
Yeah.
Etc. Etc. Stonewashed. There you go. That's what you need. Let's see. If I win the garage, this is from BMW Gary. I want to buy the shed from you that Mike built to store all the crap I have in my garage now.
Okay, there you go. Yeah,
that's a good plan, Gary. Matt, which washer dryer do you recommend again?
Speed Queen TC5 DC5 combo, or if you have room for a stacker, do the SF7000W, WE or WG for electric or gas. And actually, if you go to Speed Queen's site, great news. It looks like they have they're going to have black. See,
yeah.
Look at that.
First thing that pops up.
That's
way
freaking
nicer.
sweet. Yeah. Takes their old goofy look and modernizes it. They just put that up on the site a few months ago, and I don't know if they're shipping that stuff yet, but now you can get the black version. If you need a front loader, then you would do the like at Helen, I need a front loader. I think it's the FF07, and then the matching dryer.
I don't want it to take me top load again.
Yeah.
Front load. No, it still took me top load. Sorry. Hey, Matt. Brandon wants to know, do you meditate?
No.
If you learn how to meditate and move your energy, your problem with driving and falling asleep will disappear, I promise.
Yeah, maybe.
Put that on the list. Aaron91 says, Matt, when I win the garage giveaway, I will take you for a ride in my 1,200 horsepower twin-turbo CTS-V.
Nice.
Sounds fast.
I don't know if I want that smoke, If you do it slow.
Yeah,
I'm a very fragile fella,
You look like Michelle did in the video.
I'm a very important person here. There's a lot of people relying on me, so I need to be very safe and taken care of.
PJ Fan 173 says, building a 40 by 60 shop garage that will be on well water.
Okay.
Should I be using a water softener before running it through my pressure washer?
I would. It'll help your whole thing, pipes and everything in the future. So if you get the water softener and the Kinetico, call again, some sort of system like that would help. And then it would also make it so when you're using your DI stuff, maybe your resin won't quite get beaten up as much if you take some of the heavy mineral content out.
Simon Howard says, hey Matt, how'd you do with your bike ride after the mods with the seat post and bars?
I'm going tomorrow, so I haven't gone out yet. But I'm telling you, man, I rode that bike a couple of weeks ago. I was freaking flying. So I'm gonna roll it for a little while before I put the grippy tires on. I'm gonna run it with the Wreck and Race tires and see how I do.
Let's see. Rossi only recommends Speed Queen. Yep, nothing else. Catching the podcast late, says Ben. Have we talked about the Ego battery pressure washer lately? Yes, we still don't have it, Ben. We definitely need more Adam LZ videos. Yep. Hey, Matt, would you consider doing a video on speccing a Carrera S or GTS for first-time buyers? A similar spec to your previous C2S with the addition of CCB on a Carrera S is now pushing $165,000 to $175,000. I feel it's a stretch, as some GT cars can be had for this or near $200,000.
You know what would be cool? I think I might do this. If I just do, like, even cars that maybe I'm not buying.
Just
I'm doing it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I do that, why don't I go and share with people? Here's how I would buy it. Here's what I would buy if I was buying a like the Nissan GTR, or I was looking at the Lotus Emira, or just any car that I find. Okay, let me go look at the the R8's about to be discontinuing. Come out the new R8. Let's if I was going to buy a V10 Plus, how would I spec it? The Mercedes AMG GT, the new one's coming out, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let me go see if the configurator's up yet. I think it'd be kind of a cool little series to do every once in a while. Hey, here's Maddie. Here's how Maddie would spec the car.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Thanks, SC.
My new, turning over a new leaf of being a bit more, staying authentic, but having more intentionality and broad appeal.
Matt, is there a specific brand or type of wiper blades that you recommend?
I always like to buy whatever the OE version. I'm sure there's ways to improve, but I like to buy the OE wiper. So whatever the car was using, that's generally what I order.
Dean Roscoe wants to know, are you aware of Yum Cars on YouTube? The dude has ripped off the whole OG thing from your products to Wash and Talks. Everything. Sad.
Yeah. We've gone over that before. Old Nick is he's something else.
How long until the storage unit place sells to you?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. That'd be cool.
If I'm building a house that will be completed around June, Joshua wants to know, will I still qualify for the garage giveaway?
Sure. That'd be perfect. Give perfect timing.
Yeah, we can work with the winner on that, but we just got to put some stop dates in place.
Yeah.
Let's see. The unfortunate thing about trying to find nice denim, says Matt, is you have to swim through an ocean of hipsterism.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's going to be the tricky part. Luckily, I have some consultants. I have some OG followers who are experts who are going to lead me to the promised land quicker than normal.
Big Head James wants to know, any updates on the OG DI water solution?
Ooh, yeah. We just approved the final prototyping, so it's going into production now for our initial, working mock, and then from there it's getting to production.
Steven wants to know, hey Matt, do you own any guns? If you do, what is your OG spec when it comes to a gun?
Yeah, I have. I'm not a gun guy at all, so I don't know much about them other than here's how I do gun. So I went to this gun show down the street. I'm like, I really need a smaller, like, everyday carry. I really needed it to take to Helen. I don't need it, but I'd like to have it. And so I went to the gun show. I start walking around.
Okay.
And so I start looking, who looks like the most successful at this? Like who has the big booth and has a bunch of assortment of stuff. And so I found that guy, and I walk up to him and I say, all right, if you had somebody else's Amex Platinum, knowing what you know about guns, it seems like you're into this. Are you enthusiast? He's like, oh yeah, I shoot all the time. I love this. That's why I'm in this business. I said, okay, now knowing you a little bit, my name's Matt Mormon. Let's assume you have my Amex Platinum. Which gun? I need a handgun, 9mm. What are you buying? And so then he started showing me, some $400 guns. I'm like, no. Remember, you have my Amex Platinum. I drove here in a GT3 RS. Take advantage of me here. What, as an enthusiast, what would you want? And so then he handed me a Wilson Combat, and I said, all right, I'll take it. And his eyes, almost popped out of his head because I was at this podunk little gun show. And so that's how I would buy a gun, is go try to find somebody who has some passion for it, and then say, what should I get? Because I'm not really into it. If I was into it, then I would be like, I'm into mountain biking and chasing all kinds of stuff and trying to figure it all out. And so I have I have two Daniel Defense. I have an M4A1 AR with a Trijicon tritium based sight. I have a Daniel Defense. I forget the model, but it's a 308. A little longer range with a loop-holed, long range sight on it. That's a 308 caliber. I have a Beretta, I think it's like Series Tactical, like police issued type, shotgun with a red dot on it. And then I have that Wilson Combat little handgun that I bought, and I have I think it's a P266 Sig Sauer, 9mm, and with the little green dot thingy on laser sight. And then I probably have, I don't know, 15,000 rounds or something like that combined, 20,000 rounds of, various, 9mm, 5.56, 308, shotgun, whatever, buckshot and birdshot and all that crap. And that's about it. I have no intention of shooting any of them, but they're there and I got them. And I just know that I probably have better guns than you, if you're like the average bloke. And that's all I really wanted to have, So if the zombie apocalypse comes, I got the long range rifle where I can pick them off from afar. I got the close quarter combat stuff that I could, do what I need to do. And the problem is I'll have to learn how to shoot them on the fly. So we'll figure that out. I shot everything, but I haven't shot the Wilson Combat or the 308 because I bought those recently. But the same thing with the 308. I went up to the guy. I said, "All right, which one do you want?" He's like, "Well, this one. This is the one I have. I'll take that." Yeah. So that's how I did it. And then I went to the ammo guy and I said, I need some. I just bought a 308. I need a bunch of 308. And so he's making me deals, and I'm carrying it out, putting it in the. This was the giveaway, the 997 RS, and loading it up with bullets. I had to go home, drop some bullets off, come back, reload up, and go get some, some more cash.
Yeah.
So that's how I roll, and that's in my Fort Knox safe.
Dev T wants to know, what are the top 3 infrastructure requirements you'd spec for a 2-car garage for a hobbyist mechanic and detail weekend warrior?
I think it's pretty simple. Flooring, lighting, cabinets. You gotta figure out where you're gonna put your jack. Hopefully, you can utilize the attic above. I'm a big proponent of utilize the attic space for things you don't need all the time, like oil drain pans and creepers and stuff that you might have in your 2-car that you could put up in the attic. If you shoot in best case, you put an attic lift like I have, where I can take things up and down and have motorized stairs. And so that's what I'm looking to have. I'm looking to have at least 2 decent sized closet type cabinets, a nice long countertop. I'd like to have a vise. I want to have a full suite of Milwaukee tools, as well as bits and all of that stuff, and then utilize an attic for extra.
Delton wants to know if you have any opinion or experience on the Fireball USA line of coatings.
I do not. I had met them at SEMA, and a couple of my buddies who have used them told me don't waste my time.
Bra O says AMSOIL's signature series oils are pretty good. HPL oils are measurably better. You ever used HPL before?
No.
That's what this is.
No.
All right, thanks, Bra. Any challenges or cost increases that surprised you so far at the LZ project? Some that might have missed the videos. This is from Howlers.
I don't think so. Everything has kind of been on track. The one cost increase that we didn't anticipate was I wanted to do some DMF lighting, and primarily Cree, but the Cree stuff is largely unavailable. And so we did the whole house in DMF. It's roughly 6 times the price. Instead of a $30 fixture, it's $180 per fixture. It's not 6 times better. It is certainly better. We were going to do some DMF and some Cree. We had quite a bit of change orders on the cabinets and stuff, so we had some add-ons there, but that was expected. And then the big repiping of the house project that Chris and Service Plumbing did was a big thing. I didn't want to do, kicked and screamed my way through it, and didn't want to, because Chris was donating his time, didn't want to take advantage or overstay my welcome, if you will. And so that was awesome to get that done, but certainly not something I had even thought of needing to do.
Lane wants to know, is there any chance of a 992 GT3 RS in the future?
I hope so. There's nothing in my head at the moment. It's just so much money, even if you were able to get it at MSRP. But that car is amazing. I'd love to have one.
What is MSRP on that?
When you build that, you're going to be in the low 3s, 315 or so, 300 to 315. But they're selling for 450 and up.
Alan says, I've always liked steam cleaners for interiors on small parts.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the OG solution?
Dupre Tosca, or the Dupre, the bigger one. I forget what it's called, like Dupre Injection or something like that.
Ricky says, I ordered a new BMW with their Vigenza fake leather.
Uh-huh.
Which protection should I use for that?
You'd use Color Lock Artificial Leather Protector and Cleaner. It's just vinyl is what it is. What is it called? Vigenza? Like Vigenza? A vegan.
Yeah. Oh, I see. It's vegan leather.
That's so stupid. It's Hill Injection is what it's called. Yeah. They have the big one down there too, which the steam box.
Oh my.
Yeah, that one's freaking sick.
Looks like a ham slicer. What is that?
Yeah, all those are sweet. The yeah, vegan leather's freaking stupid name. There's no such thing. It's called vinyl. It's fake leather. It's vinyl, not vegan anything. It's nonsense.
Speaking of Chris at Service Plumbing, he says you should always test the water or have the water tested before you decide what type of treatment system works for you.
Yeah, good advice.
Let's see. Afternoon, gents. Any game-changing OG products coming in 2024? Jeff wants to know.
There's a really sick entry-level polisher. I think it's going to change the game. There is, touchless in the Built Hammer product line. Hopefully, the Pressall new tips and Pressall bottles that are fluorinated, so we have the proper labels. Hopefully, Obsessed Garage Selvage Japanese denim. We'll see. So those are the things that are top of mind at the moment.
Delta wants to know, hey, Matt, can you give a rundown of how you do wiper management of a coated windshield?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing to do is never use the wipers dry, right? And never use them. Like what I would do generally is if I knew the car was dirty, like really dirty, like dusty, with like sand or grit or dirt, and I would wait till the window got good and wet, or I would, try to hit it with, the if it was, say it was drizzling, I'd let it drizzle for a while before I activate the wipers, and then I'd hit it with some, window or whatever, the cleaner, wiper fluid, because what you don't want is that initial sandy, dry wipe, scratches the crap out of your window and knocks out your sealant. And so that's the biggest thing. And then I usually don't use the intermittent, or I usually don't use the on. I just manage it on my own and hit the button, or hit the stock. I know Chris is just turn it full high and just roll. Just let it go. Let it dig.
Yeah.
Let it eat.
And I turn off the car and they're still up like that.
Yeah, let it eat. Right?
Yeah. No Classic wants to know, have you done any content on wet sanding for deeper clear coat damage? Have an issue with my daily and looking for insight.
I mean, I've done a fair amount and been trained by some of the best. Wet sanding, generally speaking, I'm not doing a lot of.
Do you have any videos on that, like with what's his name, Jason?
Yeah, there's a whole series. If you look at Kilmer, if you just search Kilmer on this channel, Jason Kilmer, where we go and talk about wet sanding and advanced polishing. That would be a great video series for you to watch. I think there's 5 or 6 episodes on it.
Let's see. He also says, I enjoyed the Ironheart denim that I had, but that was some time ago. Can't speak to the recent stuff.
Speaking of their buddy Aaron Knox, I've been talking to him about. We're going to put together a YouTuber versus professional series. The throwdown that I've been talking about. I'm going to talk a lot of trash, and we'll do a car and see who wins. So we'll be taking applications for that one.
All right, your gun buddy here, built by Ross.
Okay.
He says, your collection is definitely not better than mine. I have a couple that I lost in a boating accident. I've heard that before. I know what that means.
Yeah. Not his, but that's why I said regular, average people. But certainly gun people. Even some gun people, I probably got better guns than they got, but maybe they have more. But I've got a decent enough little setup that I can do some damage.
Ross sounds like the guy who has like 300 or 400 guns.
Like a room, yeah.
A gun room,
multiple rooms.
In your opinion, what are some of the best ceramic coatings on the market for professionals? Casey Details wants to know.
I mean, my favorite is Seaquartz Finest or G-Technic Crystal Serum Ultra. Would be my 2 choices.
PJ Fan 173 is planning on putting in a 4-post lift in my build.
Okay.
Which brand do you suggest? Also, thanks for your reply on the well water.
Either Challenger or Benpack. Nussbaum is going to come out with a 4-post this year, I hope, is our plan. But yeah, one of those 2. 4-post lifts are pretty simple.
Cars for JR must know, or he says, I'd love to see a spec at GT3 RS or any other car. Great idea for Hex members.
Yeah, I like that idea. I'm going to do that for sure. Maybe we'll do it once a week. Pick a car.
Michael C. wants to know, is Adam going to teach you how to drift?
Yes.
Nice. K-Ping wants to know, which sprayer bottle can I use with OSFO without the nozzle getting pissed at me?
Because OSFO is phosphoric acid, it's not super caustic on plastic anyway, and so I don't think you'll have a problem with any. It just gets ugly and gross, but it's because it's kind of oily as well as oily feeling, and then it tends to evaporate and get kind of crystallized. But I found that it hasn't really killed any bottles for me.
AT, he needs a very specific recommendation from you. How about toilet paper, Matt? Which toilet paper?
Charmin Ultra Soft, for sure.
That's what we have here at OG, too.
For sure.
None of that one-ply stuff.
Get out of here, yeah.
Progression Decibel. Hey, Matt, I still have maybe 3 to 4 more years out of my Tesla Model Y.
Okay.
Do you still like Rivian? I want an EV pickup the next go-round.
I like it a lot. I'd highly recommend
Michelle
it.
loves it, too.
Yep.
Cars JR says the next giveaway winner will be in Hawaii. I'm calling it.
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
Jack says, hey, Matt, are you going to try mixing in sauna before or after the cold plunge?
Yes. Actually, Plunge just came out with a new sauna that I think is going to be awesome. They solve a lot of the problems that are out there in the marketplace, so I'm going to order mine here soon.
Let's see. If you only have one PF 22.2 foam cannon, would you recommend 2 bottles, one for soap, one for Breakbuster, or would you recommend just getting a second foam cannon?
I mean, definitely get a second foam cannon, but yeah, 2 bottles for sure. Make life a lot easier. You probably want 3.
Chris Lindsay says, well, 1 ply is like wiping with a ghost. That's good. Is the Griot's versus MTM better or worse for soap versus Breakbuster when it comes to the foam cannons?
I mean, the Griot's is pretty much superior in all aspects, so you'd want the Griot's if you can.
Delton just had a ceramic coating put on his new truck. Would a touch-free car wash and waterless wash be a good solution for me? I live in an apartment and don't have access to a means of properly washing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need to touch. There's not really much of a such thing as a touch-free. You need to touch it, and so you would want. I would use McKee's N914, or DIY Details version, or O&R. One of those surfactant-based cleaning systems would be what I'd choose, and then develop a process around that and how to clean it.
Brendan says, any OG specs ceiling fans for bedrooms and office? Don't they all do the same thing, just different looks? I like the stainless look and 3 blades.
Your only choice is big ass fans. God dang it!
That'd be getting me sick.
No, I gotta. Yeah, big ass fans. Haiku. There's no other option, and they're so much different than anything else, and they're not really that great. But it's what we got.
You want some water?
Nope.
All right, 2 more things there, then we'll let you die in peace. Synthetic clay bars, trash or stick with the originals?
For sure you want to do it. No, it's not a clay bar, but like the Rag Company sponge we have in the store is the best option, I think, for doing it.
All right, last question here from Damien. Am I able to stop by OGHQ to pick up some new LZ collab shirts?
Yep, we're here.
Definitely, Damien. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30. We have shirts sitting right outside my office here.
Yep,
so
ready to rock.
Come on by.
Yep, anytime.
All right, well, that's it for this week. Next week, you'll be back at LZ's. Is that the
correct
plan?
Yep. Okay. We should take our gear down there and do a podcast from there.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I'll get with Waba and see if we can get him what he needs to have you guys do that.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, I guess I'll see you guys. Maybe I'll see you next week.
All right. Well, thank you all for the questions, for tuning in. We'll get this uploaded. I'll get with Tim to make sure that happens today before we leave. And we'll see you maybe next week.
See ya.